Hello, 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 y'all. Welcome. Welcome. Woo. We have a very interesting stream today. Just adjusting my camera slightly. There we go. Today is my last stream of Global Hack Week API, which it is sad, but all things must end. So today is like my last chance this month to finish all the things that we want to finish in this application. And I am trying to figure out what I want to focus on and what is reasonable to focus on. And I think, as I mentioned in the announcement, that I want to make this multi-page so that we actually have a user like login flow, because I think that'll fix a lot of our authentication issues. And then if we have time after that, I think it will be good to hopefully, let me adjust some audio stuff, to hopefully try having our database calls like done correctly, so that we can have real-time like read when the database updates our front-end updates as well, which is one of the huge benefits of Firebase. But we are currently not using that because this was just written as a test bed that was designed to like work once, show some things off, and then finish, like be done with the stream. Just double checking to make sure that everything's working. Looks like everything's good on my end. Looks like we have like a moderate sized crowd. I was just caught off guard because usually someone says something in chat. So I just wanted to make sure that I was actually live. Totally fine if we have a quiet chat today. One thing that I do want to do though. Hey, Eclectic, welcome. Do I want to do this? Yes. We are going to set up our speedrun timer. For my internet gave up on me back. Understandable. I am going to, let's open up our code here. And let's go to that minimum viable product planning that we were doing. So today is the 10th. And let's figure out what we want to do today. So again, convert our test bed, or actually move our Firebase code such that it works across all Svelte pages. Then move our front end code to multiple pages for an actual login flow. And then we want to figure out how to link between pages in SvelteKit Router. And then we're going to want to correctly read the username from the database live. And then we're going to want to add the ability to edit the username once it exists. That's a lot of things. So we'll see how much. Hey, thanks for the follow, Quantum Glide. It's always nice seeing you back. That's a lot of things. So we'll see if we actually have time to finish all of them. But that is the amount of things that we have and the order that we want to be able to do them in. So with that, let's open up our splitter. Oh, I should. Okay. Our game is Global Hack Week API. Our category, Svelte Kit any percent this time. Actually, this isn't. Svelte Kit router percent is going to be our speed run today. Audio check. Can y'all not hear me? Everything looks good on my end. Okay, it's back. I was messing with audio stuff before the stream to try fixing some stuff. My audio is bad. Okay. It is not unreasonable for my audio to be bad this stream as well, because I was making some changes trying to fix some things that Shem was talking about last time, about the way that I do audio that can sometimes be overwhelming. I think I have the best solution that I can come up with right now. No, it was my earphones. My Spotify sounded pretty bad too. Totally fine. Okay. So hello, y'all. Hey, Pranav. Welcome. Nice seeing you again. We want to generalize Firebase. We want to split our pages. We want to link pages. That one should be fairly simple using A tags. Edit username. I want to do that one first. Username. And then we have read username live. Those are our different goals. I'm going to change the order on these that we have for today. Now, time for me to try estimating how long each one will take. I have an hour and 50 minutes, which is a total of 110 minutes. Generalized Firebase, I'm going to say 25. Splitting the pages, I'm going to also say 25. Linking the pages, I'm going to say 10. I'm going to be optimistic that gets us to an hour. Edit username, I'm going to say 20. And read username, I'm going to say 30. These are our goal times. If we click OK, once I start this speed run, theoretically,
let's start.
You should be able to see both my current time and how it is matching up to the time that I hoped for and predicted. Let's see how this works. Properties, window capture, splitter. Okay, do this. Great. Hey, Priyan. Welcome. Okay. I'm nervous all of a sudden, but we have our goals. We have our times. Oh, wait. These times are these are in seconds, not minutes. Today is the last day. It is, which is always sad. Parting is such sweet sorrow. Okay, now it's in minutes. Okay. Last day of this month. Very true, 404. We've started. Oh no, it needs to, okay, there we go. Okay.
Tangent alert!
Hey, this is not
Tangent
a tangent.
alert.
We've started our speed run and we are looking to generalize our Firebase code because currently all of our Firebase code is right here in this script at the top of our page. And we want to, all of the functions that are specific to this page, we want to keep. But this stuff, we want to be available across our different pages. Do I not have Firebase or Firefox open? Oh, I minimized it. There we go. Okay. So in SvelteKit, project structure, I guess. Just adjusting the spacing here. There we go. Okay. Okay. Source, routes, and app.html. Lib. Oh, wait. Utilities and components. I'm assuming we want this to be a library utility. Parameters, parameter matching. We are not touching that. Routes. We're going to be touching that later. Page template. See, but that's HTML, not a svelte. Error HTML, hooks client, client hooks server, service worker, don't need any of that. Static assets, tests, package, svelte config. Okay, yeah, so this should be a lib. Or in lib. Server only library code, no, this needs to run the front end. Oh, there's a form actions. Oh, yeah, that was what we looked at before. Form actions, loading data. Before containing layout components can be entered. This can be done by defining load features. Page.js, load function. Okay, we've looked at this before. Layout can also load data. Before page, and it's containing layout. Okay, but a layout applies to every page. But this would run on every page. Hey, Armand. Welcome. You are not too late at all. You can see on the speedrun timer how long we've been going. Last day of the month that is, in terms of Global Hack Week. We have no more Global Hack Week days after this, but we'll be back next month. Using parent data, loading data, page data. We need it to be more than page. Layout data. That seems jank. This is reverse universal. Run both the server and the browser. When does each load functions, input, output. Fetch data from an external API and doesn't need private credentials. Route, parameters, making fetch requests, cookies, headers, parent data, errors, redirects, promises, parallel loading, running load functions. Wow, speedrun. Yeah, it's a thing that I'm trying where we've set our goals and I've estimated how much time I think it will take so we can see how far we get. It adds some nice like tension and structure to the stream. Untracking dependencies. This isn't helpful. Place files you want to import through the library alias in this folder. Okay, let's take a look at state management here. Very funny meme, no rickrolls, no tricks. I am copying this and I am opening it off stream. Yes, very funny meme. Dimmer speedrunning code, random 25-minute tangent. Indeed, yes. Armand, thank you. I appreciate that you like the vibes. No side effects on load, but then what should we do? Svelte's context API. Oh no, this is so much more complicated. I do not know Svelte as well as, like, I know Svelte in terms of creating a UI, but not in terms of inside. There's an add set context. Oh, get context canvas. Like lifestyle functions. Looks interesting. Looks like a use context hook. Total Eclipse, welcome, first time chatter. I do not know what that is referring to. There's a great video on YouTube by Freed Code Camp about Svelte. Yes. And also, famous last words. I am trying to do this without a tutorial like that because at this point we don't have the time for a tutorial like that, which is ironic. This week, I realized that I kind of went about this backwards. Usually I'm really good at like determining which things should go where in terms of like what I need to finish first and second and things like that. And in this instance, I did not do an especially good job at that. So hence today is jank cleanup day. Just fixing that. Great. But oh, React hooks. Oh, okay. Dang, I never used context with React. I don't think I was that good of a React developer. Not that I ever claimed to be. I only did it in the context of hackathons, but okay. Lifestyle functions like set context and get context must be called during component initialization. The context key canvas, anything you like, including non-strings. Okay. So then I think what we do here, I appreciate your efforts. Dimmer, documentation is a great place. If you used use state and use effect, it's kind of similar. Yeah, I'm trying to relate this to use state. Just sending a context wrapper to store the variable and pass the context parameters throughout components without having to directly pass them by calling the use context API. Just sending a context wrapper. Oh, okay. So I guess what we're gonna do So I guess, okay, we're gonna create a new page that is going to be login or welcome. We're no longer doing anything standard practice. I apologize. We're just trying to, the point of this is not to create a good Svelte application. The point of this is to do Firebase. And I thought Svelte would make it easy to do that. And it might have if I had not also chosen to use SvelteKit, which was entirely new as well. So compare it to a layout, and then you're rendering components within the layout, so they are nested. The outermost div or container would house the context wrapper. This could store state management, and then you could call on it directly from components. Yes. So the thing that I'm like currently trying to think about is the first time the page is opened, we want to set all of our Firebase stuff, but we don't need to do it again after that. And I don't know how to do like an on first page load sort of thing in a multi-page application.
Hello, y'all.
Hey, because I've only ever done, in hindsight, single page apps. All of my React stuff was single page and things like that. This is where I have done goofed slightly. And again, the choices that I made earlier this week, where I bit off more than I could chew with trying to have multiple new things. Yeah, sounds like state management would be beneficial here too. Yes. Okay. Let's do some... Actually, this is a good instance to talk to ChatGPT. I usually don't like to do this, but in this instance, I'll need to log in. Give me a sec. But I just use the create client function on each parent page. Okay. Use on mount. So the problem is that I don't know where that on mount would go, because that on mount works. Hey, okay. Thank you, Priyan. Let's take a look at add Firebase authentication to a Svelte app. Okay, just double checking that I can't actually read this, because sometimes you can't. Great. Lib client Firebase. Supabase does not equal Firebase, though. I'm dropping this link in chat so it gets saved by the script that I have running. Note that I'm already adding auth. Okay. Layout Svelte, add this. Okay, so you do use it in the layout, which will run across all Svelte tags. This is exactly what we were looking for. Thank you, Priyan, for dropping this link. Since onMount runs only on the client, only initialized on the client side, now we need somewhere to store. Oh my goodness, I didn't even know what this Firestore was. Goodness. Okay. Let us... Going to delete this. Let's follow this tutorial here. 9 minutes, 47 seconds. Great. Lib client. we're going to npm install Lodash. I don't really know what Lodash does. I've seen it in a lot of places. I've never used it before. While that's installing. npm I save Lodash. Okay. Lodash makes JavaScript easier by taking the hassle out of working arrays, numbers, objects, strings. Interesting. Okay. We are just going to follow the tutorial slightly. Let me look at what this does. Is used to memorize a given function by caching the result computed by the function. Okay, I don't understand why this is useful. Oh, I think I might. We will see. Okay. Oh, shoot. No. This was in the right folder. Could not find a declaration file for module Lodash. Ah, TypeScript stuff. Great. Now we don't need to all of these, but I'm going to copy them and then go through them. We definitely need initialize. We definitely need get auth. But that should be it. And then only get Firestore. And then export const. Ah, okay. I get kind of what memorize is doing in this instance. We're just taking I didn't grab Firebase config. We're just taking these constants and it is like wrapping them into like another form. I don't know why exactly we need that other form, but we will see. Get analytics. I'm not using analytics. Oh, why did I copy that person's code? App. We have auth, app, auth, and DB. And then we need to grab our Firebase config. Oh my goodness, I keep hitting Control B along with Control V. Okay. Okay. With this, we now have a way to configure Firebase from elsewhere within our app. Now we just need to import this file. We will do that within our main layout. The fact that I wasn't using a layout or anything like that, like, again, I really was not using SvelteKit to its full potential, and that was, I think, where I was having all of these problems. Where I jumped into SvelteKit before I really understood Svelte, and I didn't actually take the time to on mount, init Firebase. So this, Ah, I understand. Priyan, you mentioned use on mount, but I was like, on mount what? Layout will mount, like layout is a part of every single page of our application, so this will mount only once. Great. Now we need somewhere to store the user. Let's go ahead and create src source stores auth.ts. Source, I do not have a stores. Oh goodness, okay. Stores, source stores, new file, auth.ts. Import writable, type user. Oh. Hey, can Yumi? Feel free to correct my pronunciation in chat. Hello, hello, first time chatter, welcome. I understand what this is doing. This gives us a actually secure place to store this information and use it in multiple parts of our app. Whereas before I was like, I don't feel like I should be creating a variable for this, but I don't know what else I should be doing. Total Eclipse, like building a layout, every room page inherits all the stuff from the layout. Yes, yes, again, I set this up trying to just like, oh, quick one page, test bed, demo some Firebase stuff, but I didn't actually have the infrastructure surrounding it that we now need to add today to add all of the Firebase stuff securely and correctly. Now we just need a way to update the store whenever the user is updated. That is easy. Head back to layout svelte and add this. Import auth as auth store. Thanks for the follow, Total Eclipse. In our layout, import auth as auth store from stores auth. Import auth. Ah, okay. Because we have Firebase, which has auth, and this is our auth store. Great, okay. And then on mount, const auth, on auth state changed. Okay. This is reminding me of my React days. Great. On auth state changed. That's a Firebase function. Okay. I'm gonna go back. I thought, let's see. Ooh, we just hit the 25-minute mark. So we are now over. But I think this will work out okay. Hey, Mr. Clueless, welcome. You never need to apologize about being late to stream. I don't take attendance. So again, why on auth state changed? We're grabbing in our layout svelte. But that isn't a function that we've passed through there. I guess we'll just import that again from Firebase auth. Argument of type this void. It's not assignable to parameter next. This is just wrong. Something's wrong here, but I can't tell what it is. If anyone in chat understands what's happening here, I'm going to look at the documentation for Svelte stores. What's today's goal? Today we are unjankifying in order to add a correct user flow for login so that our login code actually works. And then from there, if we have time, we're going to change our database stuff. .set, .update. Constant count, writable. Oh God, stored. I may or may not have totally 100% bitten off way more than I could chew with this. This should have been in React, where I had at least slightly more context. On auth state changed, auth. Wait, here we have an on auth state changed. Auth. Okay, no, that is using the Firebase. Okay, I was right the first time. Authstore.set. Auth is declared, but its value is never read. Authstore.set. .set. .set is a valid store. Console.set. Great, there we go. Slightly different than how the tutorial wrote it, but I believe that this is running all correctly. Implementing sign-in. The final piece is... Now, whenever Firebase updates the authenticated user, we'll have it in our store. Now we can grab it from there whenever we need to. Because it's in our layout, so it's across all of our different pages. Okay. Routes. Login. No, we need a folder. And in that folder, we have a new file, login.svelte. Okay, Let me just look. I think we almost just generalized everything. Let me just look at what we did with our database. We no longer need these. Okay, great. We might have problems with this because it's implying an email. So we'll see how it works with our anonymous authentication. But we'll see. Oh, wait, I need to keep those just to not break things. But theoretically, we shouldn't need those. Signed anonymously. On-auth state changed. Username submission, set username, get username. Okay, yeah, that should be... We should have moved our Firebase code so that it works across all Svelte pages. I might be doing this. We'll probably need to keep fixing things, but split. 7 minutes behind. Let's see if we can make up some time. In React, we do this by defining a custom hook to handle the auth state change, and then we use the hook across all pages to access the user. Yes, we're doing something that is like very adjacent to that. Just using some like specific Svelte kit, like syntactic, or like, it's not syntactic sugar at this point. It's truly a feature. Okay. Now we have 17 minutes if we're gonna get back on pace to implement our login page. So this is their full page, which includes a form. And handling submit. Okay. Yeah, we have a bunch to learn. I'm sitting down for this. Because yeah, it's been a really long time since I'd handled HTML forms, so I just did it way jank. Whoa, our TTS is no longer on the screen. What happened there? Something. Was a little bit weird there. Okay. Great. Let's try this. By the way, Dimmer, today I learned Prisma ORM. That thing crazy useful. Prisma ORM. Interesting. Very cool. Okay. Ooh. This is the problem with me again, not like fully setting up or thinking about what this project would look like, because this login page is more code than we have total in our app right now, which is how you do login correctly. But I really didn't want to just implement like Google login. And some people convinced me in chat that it was good to, and I was convinced. I thought that it would be good to not implement the Firebase UI for login. So now we have an interesting question here of like, do we unjankify login? And I think there's great learning potential. Let's actually. Should we unspool the jank that is my login? Yes, we can learn a lot from login. No, focus on Firestore. There we go. We have a poll now running where you can vote by typing 1 or 2 in Twitch chat of basically what should we be focusing on. Should we unspool the jank that is my current login setup? Or should we keep my current login setup, which technically works, but is horrible, absolutely atrocious, and move on to our Firestore stuff? 1 vote so far. Mr. Clueless, because you had a number 1 in your message, it voted for that, but I know that you voted for 2. Two, but nice to return to it in the future. Single sign-on is nice. Okay. The people have generally decided. Well, I say generally decided. Hey, Habia Penguin Pepper. Welcome, first time chatter. Riza Mustang, welcome. Riza, I'm sorry, you are our first one. We are going to be focusing on Firebase. Which means you could use Firestore auth, but build your own login forms and auth it that way. So that is what we're doing. But my current form is really jank. So it's a question of, do I fix the form or not? And we just voted basically to not fix the form, to like focus on Firestore instead. Because if we look at what I did, and I'm like truly embarrassed to show this off. It is literally a form that is just text input, email, password, and then I don't even use form submission. I literally just pull using get element by ID what the values are and pull it from there. Which is like, again, like this like cursed, like haven't touched a front end in a while, like half React brain of like, I wouldn't use like traditional form submissions because I wouldn't be using like HTML forms. But with this, I could use HTML forms. And I just didn't actually know how to off the top of my head. And I didn't take the time to figure it out. So we have login.svelte. It has been a long time since I've had a project like this, where I've gotten to the point where I've jumped too far into the deep end, where I actually don't entirely know is an understatement. I really don't know what's happening at this point. Usually, I'm doing one new thing each stream. This time, I did everything new by accident. Okay. Great, implementing sign-in. The final piece, ooh, so simple. Actually, we're going back to another poll again, because I think I have the better solution. our options are, should we keep my jank form? Thank you for the dramatic tension, Mr. Clueless. Or should we implement Firebase single sign-on? Before, we had designed this to do anonymous authentication, passwordless authentication, because that's what I would want in a general sense. But in this case, it is adding another layer of complexity to what is turned into just a Firebase stream. I think that just implementing Firebase SSO would allow us to focus more on the Firebase, but I'm curious what y'all think. That is very appropriate. This stream is very oof-worthy. We started on a really high note this week. Again, type number 1 or number 2 in chat to vote for your options there. In Twitch chat, if anyone's watching on YouTube. We started on a really high note this week, where we took a project that I had written before in Python. I need to fidget with something, so I dropped what I was fidgeting with. One sec. I'm just like fidgeting with an extra hair tie. We started with taking a project that I had written for Global Hack Week Cloud, which was back in a while ago. I think February, maybe. Total Eclipse, literally just Python. It was just like a script. And we Dockerized it so I could run it on a Raspberry Pi that's over in the corner. So that is running a bot that is a Twitch chat bot that takes all of the links that are dropped by either MLH or by a mod in Twitch chat and saves it in a Google Sheet for future reference for people. It's very unofficial, very beta, very jank. Actually, let me drop the link to that in chat for new people. It is not officially supported by MLH. This is a Global Hack Week project that has just ended up being a thing that is still running. But you can go to that. Portainer for the Docker management. Nope, just Docker. Very simple. Okay, looks like people have decided on number 2. So we're going to finish that. And let us in this case, we're just going to store the UID. Whereas 404, they mentioned that he was having some, like, internet problems, I think. I think we're just storing the UID now. Great, okay. Authenticate with Google using Firebase. Goodness. I was about to say Firescript. That's nothing. Okay. Create an instance of the Google provider object. Wait, no, we should still store the email. I just want some like svelte boilerplate here, but okay. Optional, specify additional. We don't need any additional scopes. To localize the parameters, OAuth flow. Google Auth requires Google Cloud Platform setup, as far as I know. We'll see. Does it say that? It doesn't say. Let's try it. Let me go into our Firebase console before we're writing the code. Let's clear out our accounts that we no longer need. we did set up anonymous authentication. It was working. So we did learn some things there, but it no longer makes sense for the project. So we are going to delete some providers. Great. Google, enable. That's rough, but okay. Web SDK configuration, don't. We're just gonna, we'll edit that if we need to. I have a question. How relevant is Google App Engine in the present era? I have no idea. That is a very good question, but I do not know. Google App Engine, I know that back in 2021, a lot of my hackathon project used it. Monolithic server-side rendered websites. Yeah, I was not the person who was using it, so I have absolutely no idea. The fact that it says right here, try Cloud Run, makes me think that there are other options, but I'm sorry, Ethical Cloud, I am not the person who can help you with that. Okay. Okay, authenticate with Firebase using the Google Provider option. You can prompt users to sign in with their Google accounts either by opening a pop-up window or by redirecting to the sign-in page. The redirect method is preferred on mobile devices. Sign in with a pop-up window, call sign in with pop-up. We're gonna do that for us. Sign in with pop-up. We are going to need to, on this page, import import init Firebase from our library here. What are we looking for? We should now have auth from our layouts. We actually don't need to import this. Import auth from lib. So that's what I was going to do, but we already are importing that in our layout. So we really need to import auth from our layout. Actually, let me just try seeing if it is. No, that's from our stores. Oh, goodness. Export auth in the Firebase JS file and import it from there. So we are importing Firebase. We are importing things in our layout, which applies to our login page. We have already done this. It is just I don't know how to grab it from here. Page data, layout data. Okay. Via layout.js. Data returned from the load function is available to child in the page select. Okay. Data returned from the load function. Import page from app stores. Why is that in our stores? We can access data. Import page. Export data. Why are we? We're in our page. Why are we exporting data? Oh, we're exporting it from our script. No, but you can use anything from your script in. Okay. Let's just try this. Export init Firebase. Declaration or statement expected. Unexpected token. What the hell? This is the most jank thing. Duplicate identifier init Firebase. Okay, yeah. This is some of the most jank that I've ever written. But I don't understand how we can... Because we've already imported it. Unless we import it on every page. But that feels weird because then we're re-importing it. But this we need to Okay, let's just try this. Yeah, of course. There's no way that should work. But they're randomly using data here. Export let data. But why are you exporting in your page? I see type, import types, layout data. Okay. We're over halfway through the stream. And this is a thing that I do. I try to do it most streams. We're going to take a 5-minute break. We're gonna step away. I'm gonna drink some water. I'm gonna stretch. I'm gonna let my brain expand into a galaxy mind and take a step back and come back to this. Thank you, Mr. Clueless. Data is exported to display in HTML, but that's not how Svelte works. You can use any variable in your script, in your HTML, in a Svelte page. So yeah, we're gonna take a 5-minute break, and then we'll be back. Again, this stream, basically yesterday I realized that I jumped in too deep, and this is me trying to doggy paddle back to the shore, and I think I might drown, to extend our metaphor. You're okay, you've got this. Thank you, Total Eclipse. I appreciate it. How long do you code in a single stretch, and what do you recommend?
You totally don't.
Thanks, Mr. Clueless. I've been there a lot of times. Oh yeah, if this were a hackathon, I would be fine. The problem is that we have 53 minutes left in the stream. That I don't think we're going to get to a satisfying ending this stream. I know that everything's going to be okay, but the stream might be a little disappointing. Ethical Cat, how long do you code in a single stretch, and what do you recommend? I don't have like a good answer to that. I like code as long as it feels like productive, and I just try to like take breaks in between to like step away.
Maybe
I do a lot
it's
of
the friends we
pacing.
made along the way.
Truly it is. It really is. I have learned a ton of things in terms of all of the Firebase stuff, and I've learned how much I don't know about Svelte. This has been very good for me, but I don't know, and I think good for y'all as well in some ways. But I am self-conscious about this. Habia Penguin, what would be a satisfying ending for you? A satisfying ending is usually when I can accomplish what like the stream title sets out to do, which is not always possible. It has just been a while since I have had a stream that has gone this awry, where usually like it is a skill that I have been gaining that is looking at like, okay, what can I do in 2 hours? And I've been generally getting a lot better at it. So it has been a while since I've been in this position of like, oh, I can do none of what I set out to do because I am missing a fundamental layer of knowledge that is Svelte. So I should be doing a dedicated series of SvelteKit streams and Svelte streams before I go and try doing Firebase on top of it. That's the order that I should have done, but we're at Firebase. And I don't have the like amount of time to actually learn Svelte. Like that would take at least a couple of streams, if not like a series. Ha 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 ha. Total Eclipse ADHD has entered the chat. It's not really something that I've talked about on stream, but that is a big mood. Okay, I'm not gonna get distracted anymore. I'm going to play for y'all a quick song. Dimmer, let's learn ORMs in the next Global Hack Week data. That is probably not what I am going to. Oh no, I was saying that I have ADHD, and I was saying that hits home. That's what I was saying. That yes, I understand and feel that very strongly. Actually, I was watching a video from a health expert, and he's just, you said have a 5-second break between 15 minutes of code. That way you maintain spine health, but when you start code, you forget time, isn't it? Yeah, that doesn't seem like useful advice for me in the way that I code, where I will like get into a flow and then I will get out of it and get into it again and get out of it. And like, yeah, Pomodoro works for a lot of people. I like 525. Yes, I Pomodoro occasionally, but sometimes like it works for some tasks and not for others. I'm still learning how focus works for me. Okay. Eclectic, you motivated me to continue yesterday, and I'm almost done with Flask. Thank you. Hey, I'm glad. I need to remind myself that y'all are not coming here because you think that I am some Firebase SvelteKit expert, and you are disappointed in me. That the point of this stream is to vibe and to hang out and to code together and to like show, how about we code for 3 days and rest for the next 4? Oh my goodness, I got into that pattern. So I did basically a hackathon every weekend towards like April through like June, July of 2021 during the start of lockdowns. And it was, that took a toll on me. Would not recommend. Okay, but I keep saying that we're going to take a break, but then I keep talking. We're actually going to take a break. We will be back in 5 minutes. Let me set up my settings so the timer is working. Great. We are going to be back in 5 minutes.
2, 3, and 4. Count what you have now. Don't count what you don't have. Count what you have now. Don't count what you don't have. Find that you have so much. 頑張りすぎる自分に疲れてふと泣けてきた真夜中のバスルームでまるでにしたことのない幸せがどこかにある気がして焦るのは年のせい一人楽しく生きてきたの何一つ悔やんでないけど曇った鏡のように明日が見えない Can't you see, can't you see 自由と孤独は二つでセット気ままなこと寂しさもついてくるDon't you know 隣の芝生が青く見えたらこの庭に花を植えればいい Count what you have now. Don't count what you don't have. Find that you have so much. ないもの無駄にしながらみんな迷って生きてる大人になってからも足元に咲いた綺麗な花に気づくだけで人は嬉しい気持ちになれるのにいつか胸の奥に隠れ本当に大事なもの知る日が来るだろう Can't you see, can't you see どんな道を選んだとしても悩みの数同じだけついてくる You can choose, you can choose 私が決める私のプライオリティ何を取って何を諦めるの Can't you see, can't you see 幸せの基準測るものさし自分の心の中にあるのさ You can find, you can find 足りないもの数えるくらいなら足りてるもの数えてごらんよ Count what you have now. Don't count what you don't have. Can't you see? Can't you see? Don't count what you don't have. You can't choose. You can't choose. Have so much. You can't find. Can't you see? Can't you see? Find
Oh, it ends so abruptly. It never used to do that on the Spotify version. That makes me so sad. Well, anyway, hello, welcome back. Thank you, Pranav. If I had switched to webcam earlier, that would have been perfect timing. Apologies. Just trying to fix adding the speedrun timer, adjusted like all of the... Yeah, like all of the like TTS stuff is just like offset slightly in weird ways. If I do this now. There we... No, that just broke everything. Oh, I understand what it is. If I now do this, hey, everything works. Great. Okay, amazing. Well, hi. Welcome back from our 5-minute break. I didn't get any sudden burst of information or understanding suddenly of how SvelteKit works. So, we have a couple of options in front of us right now. I realized, more accurately, I remembered, that this is my stream, and I can do whatever I want on my stream. So, I'm going to start a poll for us. Welcome to our new poll. Can I have permission to abandon this project? Number 1, yes. Let's come up with something else to do for the next 40 minutes. Number 2, no, I want to watch you suffer for the next 40 minutes. I do not believe that this will be a successful project. Hey, Samada, welcome. You're coming in at a wonderful time where we are giving up. To give context, I personally think that number 1 is the best option here. Because, like I said before, I do not have the SvelteKit experience for this to be a good stream to learn about Firebase. Where it really, I need the background knowledge before I can make that next step. So I will just be facing weird errors and complete misunderstandings the entire rest of the time. Which, Samada, it's not necessarily an oh no. It is like revealing. Like the reason why is because you've been to some of my earlier past 2 streams where when it was just trying to use Svelte as like, oh, this is just the tooling that we will use to show off Firebase, great. But I showed off all of the Firebase stuff that I could within that environment, and now to show off the rest of what I wanted to experiment with, we needed more than that. And I didn't have the Svelte experience to back that up. So the goal is to basically stop where we are right now, and we'll come back to this sort of idea, these sort of projects for the future at some point. But for now, we will let SvelteKit ride off into the sunset. We'll do something else for the next 40 minutes to finish out this stream, and then in a future Global Hack Week, we'll come back to this to focus on SvelteKit first, so that I can gain first Svelte, then SvelteKit to gain that larger understanding, or actually, more accurately, if I wanted to do something like this, I would probably learn Next.js.
Good job.
Because that's, thank you, Pranav. That's something that I'm like, have been looking to learn for a while, from all of the things that I've heard and the fact that I already have some React experience. And I was just trying to use Svelte because I knew like just enough Svelte to like if I screen share here, what I have right here, this channel points system that I have for turning on and off channel points, this is written in Svelte as a 1-page thing, and Svelte made it super easy. And that's what I was trying to channel here. But what we were doing is more complicated than that channel points project. So we needed something more complicated, which I did not know how to do. So yeah, we'll come back in the future to do more Firebase once we have enough background in our like other surrounding skills to be able to work with it. this poll is unnecessary. I am the one who has the power to make this choice. But I wanted to provide a fun little, like, question for y'all. Great. Now the question is, what do we do for the next 39 minutes? If any of y'all have any questions, yesterday we were talking a lot about Windows and Mac OS and all of these different things. If any of y'all have any questions that you want to ask, we can totally do that. If not, I'm going to start thinking about what a good thing to talk about or do for the next 39 minutes is. Part of me wants to be like, let's just pull up a game. Let's just make this a real casual stream. But I don't know how MLH would feel about that. I've technically done this a couple of times before, but this is the most recent. Thank you, Pranav. Usually I will focus on showing y'all how I'm updating something about the stream setup. But the only thing that I'm trying to update right now is the way that I process audio, which is limited by Mac OS. So this next step forward would be to get a different stream computer, which is a tad expensive for like a part-time contract gig when I stream once a month. Doesn't seem like anyone has any specific burning questions in chat. So I'm going to do a couple of things. One, that moderator account right there is my personal Twitch. As it is the end of Global Hack Week, usually a lot of people are asking to follow me on different platforms. This is, I think, the platform that if you want to see if I'm going to be doing something like this outside of Global Hack Week, this is the platform to follow. Because I have been thinking about doing some streams outside of Global Hack Week personally. If you don't mind, show us your setup. Which part of my setup? Hardware, software, just my chair. We could just talk about chairs for the next 37 minutes. Ooh, could you please share your own experience as developer, front end versus back end or full stack? So most of my developer experience has, well, I have not worked a like software development job before. So I've worked IT for my local library where I did some technically full stack, but it was just a web app and a MongoDB server or a database. That's like the most code that I've written that's still currently in production. And then most of my stuff has been experienced from hackathons where I was almost entirely a front-end developer. At the time, I was just using React with like no fancy overlay on top and Material UI, which you can get, it's now MUI. And Flutter. Flutter has such a good developer experience. I can't justify it to myself anymore because of the way that the React ecosystem has developed and React Native has gotten a lot better. But Flutter was just a beautiful front-end developer experience to have. That is my experience. I've been trying to get more into back-end on these streams, hence Docker, hence APIs, hence Firebase. But that is my current experience.
Good job.
Thank you. Hardware first. Okay. So we've talked before about my computer. This is streaming from an M1 MacBook Pro. It's the lowest end MacBook Pro that you can get. Just above the like MacBook Air. Got it 2021. It's been running like a champ ever since. And that is like what I run majority of my like life off of. Raspberry Pi. Yep, there's a Raspberry Pi 5 that I wanted to hackathon over in the background. If I twist this, you can see over in that corner, that is my internet router and the Raspberry Pi is just sitting over there. And that is just acting as a server. That is like the majority of everything. I can talk to you more about stream hardware, but from a developer perspective, that's all the hardware that I have. Internet lag. Internet lag is a real thing. Let me check to see what the delay is on Twitch's end. Yeah, of course. Oh, it's so difficult to like, you open up your own stream and you have ads on your own stream.
Clueless is back.
Okay, I'm gonna do this. And we're gonna see, oh my goodness, the lag is so intense. Wow. Whoa, on what end is this? This lag is on my end, not on yours. This is on the stream's end. Whoa. Let's see what we can do about that. Because yeah, okay. I'm gonna, oh my, okay, wait. I've started a stopwatch and I'm gonna snap at the same time I start the stopwatch. Okay, now it is 2 seconds internet lag on my end between like my stream and I have Twitch open another page. So theoretically it's no longer on my end, but it was for a bit. Clueless is back. I don't know what you mean by that, Mr. Oh, haha, you mean you're referring to yourself, Mr. Clueless. Okay, I think, if this were earlier in Global Hack Week, like the problem is this is my last stream. When this happened earlier, I just like move on to what the next stream topic is, but I don't have another stream topic prepared for this week. I guess I could show y'all and talk to y'all about what I've been working on with that stream link aggregator, which is the project that I shared earlier. I'm gonna close out of all of my Svelte documentation. And now if I share my screen, two seconds is fine for 13,568 kilometers US to India distance. So the 2 seconds is between me and myself. So not to y'all. It is me to the Twitch server back to me. But that is the only thing that I have any control over, unfortunately. Ooh, actually, a fun way of testing this would be I will read the next message as soon as it comes through. And then if you tell me as soon as I start reading it on your end, we can see the difference, because I get your messages instantly. But there is a lag between when I, sitting here in Michigan, see it and when me on the stream on your end sees it. And that is a good way to see lag between me here and you. But this is, while I'm waiting for a message to come through, this is the Streamlink aggregator, which you can see is just a Google Sheet, which has the stream title, the date. Okay.
Tangent alert!
Oh wait, no, that's a tangent alert. Oh, those are actually the best way for you to figure out the delay, because you press that button and it goes instantly on my end, but you only get that on stream. Okay, shoot, there we go. Okay, Habio, let me know as soon as I start reading, do you? They are reaching quite late to you. Wow, I do not know what is up with the lag. Because yeah, I have noticed that. Specifically today, it has seemed worse than usual. Pranav, 4.2 seconds. It's always funny watching the viewer numbers drop, where so many people were watching specifically for Firebase, and then once I'm like, I can't give you anything about Firebase anymore. I'm sorry, I've reached the limit to which I can talk about this. Yep, that was very late. Oh my goodness. Wow, that's a long delay. But yeah, it is just a Google Sheet that is this list. This is acting as the database. And now, so this is again, where like I made a decision at the start of the project, which was, oh, let's use Google Sheets as the database, because now I can just share this Google Sheet and everyone can see it. And then I had the thought of like, oh, wouldn't it be lovely to make like a little front end? But the problem is that, so I can search. Anyone can type in search. The rest of the database is protected, but you can type in search. I can search in here dimmer, and then here are only dimmer streams. Or I can select a date by double clicking on date. And in the date picker, I can select only streams that were on the 6th is before this was live, only on the 9th. And hey, oh, look, there are streams from the 9th. But the problem is that if you go to this, you also see this, because this front end is also a Google Sheet. So it is an interesting project of like everything works with like this being a resource. And if you just scroll down to the end, that works. So it is still proving its purpose, but the idea of being able to create this front end with search and filter like that, everyone sees the same search and filter. So it was an interesting project to be able to see that distinction of like, that I didn't think about the fact that only like one person can be using the front end at a time. Oh, I guess the other thing we can do in Stream Elements, what do you think is the best way to learn something new? I think it is to create a project that you care about, that you are interested in, that you want to like have come to fruition. Because that gives you, the best way to learn is by doing. Oh goodness. There's nothing here that is like, I didn't need to switch out. But I just wanted to double check that nothing else.
Hello, y'all.
Hey, welcome back, 404. We have officially given up on our SvelteKit Firebase project because I did not have enough SvelteKit experience to actually be able to pull it off. So we are just messing around, talking, chatting, hanging out. Oh, I can see, there's so many small things that have like started going wrong in the stream setup. Overlays. This is in our screen share overlay. I've noticed that you can see like yep up there is overlapping with my screen. And I've now figured out why. If I save, it'll refresh like we've lost all of our chat history. But now I can type oh ho ho. Okay, so now it is no longer overlapping on either end, but we don't have any buffer. So I'm just quickly going to position, size, and style, width. We're gonna give it 5 pixels on either end. Great. If I do this, now it shouldn't be bumping up on either end. That is the thing that I've kept noticing that has been bugging me. I'm just trying to think about like what are little things in the stream setup that I can fix while we're talking. I do cybersecurity, and I heard Flutter is great for web API scraping. How do I go about doing that? Bumpy Rohan, Flutter is great for web API scraping. Where did you hear that? I'm curious. Because that will determine how I answer this. Because if you have, depending on where it's from, there are people who might be more knowledgeable about Flutter than I, but that is not what I think of when I think of Flutter. Python to scrape, please. I think the question I guess I have, oh, wait, I need to wait, because we've figured out that there's a very long delay between me and you, up to a minute. So if you give me more context, Bumpy Rohan. The other thing that I want more context on, you'll get this delayed, is what specifically you're looking to scrape. and like what your ideal project is. The more detail you can give me, the better. Because I think of Flutter as, today I will spend all of my channel points. If that's what you want to do, go for it. It is used to send and receive HTTP requests, right? If I'm not wrong. Flutter is a front end for mobile app development. So it is just to create user interfaces. It is not used to send HTTP requests. Flutter is beautiful. I love Flutter so much. And it is well used. But at this point, I would rather try React.js because it has like a larger, I don't know. Creating a web app in Flutter seems, I don't know. I was never able to get it to work very well before. I mean, you can use Flutter Dart to send HTTP requests, but it's much easier in other technologies. But that is not Flutter anymore. That is Dart. Where like Flutter, the technology itself is just for, like Flutter is a front-end technology, just like React is a front-end technology. Where you can use React to send HTTP requests. But the idea is like you could also just run that in Node, which is where it's running in React. I think Flutter uses Dart. Yes, it does, which is beautiful. It's like truly a wonderful developer experience. Except for like, it's good for iOS, Android, but at that point use React Native and then you have a wonderful web experience too. React, Vue, Angular, choose one. I'm gonna choose React because that's what I have the most experience in. Vue I have used in like 1 or 2 hackathons. I've heard wonderful things. Angular, I have never heard of a person who likes Angular. Yes, but like saying React for web scraping is different than saying JavaScript for web scraping. Yes, very much so. 404. And hey, that actually looks nice. There's enough space on either side that the text isn't overlapping. Aw, chef's kiss. Okay. Great. What else has there been that's bugging me? I fixed this so that there's like a slight overlay there. That's ugly. The fact that the fonts are different here annoys me. I'm literally just going through thinking about how I can make stream slightly better. Which is kind of like, be right back, this works. I'm gonna keep this. In our countdown, I'm gonna start a countdown, but I'm still sticking around with y'all. This is just for testing. This is what I like usually am looking at. You put so much effort into these streams. I truly find this fun. Like the stream production aspect is like a real passion of mine, that this is basically a hobby at this point of me like setting up the MLH stream. Again, my like day job is in production tech. That didn't work. Some of them didn't work, but some of them did. There we go. Real Peter the Pizza spam there. What am I looking for? I'm looking for this. I want to be able to share my screen with y'all, but the irony is that I cannot
Good job.
share. Oh. I can't share my screen and also show y'all the timer, which is what I'm trying to edit. Style, font size, font alignment, font gradient, flourish, pop-up messages, font name. Oh, I know what it is. It is that I'm using a different font between these two. So what it turns out
MLH
is the countdown is using Roboto Mono, and this Be Right Back text, I believe, is using Atkinson Hyperlegible. Yes, it is, which I love Atkinson Hyperlegible. I've talked about this before. But now if I do this, oh, that looks worse. Let's not do that. Just looking through this because I missed a bunch of chat messages. Is it just me, or does every developer have OCD? I know that I am very detail oriented when it comes to things like this, where like those pixels overlapping and things like that, because I like, one of the things that I love about technology, this is like I learned this about myself when I was in college, because I would find myself before like big exams and things like that, setting up software on my computer. Not software that I was going to use or that was related, but just like setting up software. And I got so much comfort out of that. And I still find myself doing this, where and I'm sure there are other tech people who have this experience as well, but I know for me that specifically, I have enough technical experience that I know that I can shape my technology to fit my needs. So I get a lot of satisfaction from being able to shape it, to express myself through technology, to express myself through like the way that my stream looks and making it look pretty, to express myself and like feel comfortable knowing that like, I have like all of these tools on my computer now. I am enabling myself to be able to do things. Am I ever going to do these things? No, I am never going to do these things. But in setting it up, I'm doing that. And also it's like a specific type of problem solving that I find really relaxing, of like, this is actually really related to the stream. I ended up putting a pause on the project. If this were a hackathon and I had more time, I would dump everything that I was doing with SvelteKit and I would switch to React or something that I was more comfortable in, and I would basically restart the project. And if we had more streams, I would have restarted the project. If this was 2 streams ago, I would have just restarted the project. The problem was, if we restart the project with only an hour left, we aren't going to get anywhere. An hour is not enough time to restart the project. I was saying something. Oh, I lost my train of thought. Oh, but when you have enough like technical knowledge to know the questions to ask, I find the process of troubleshooting can be really relaxing.
Your
because it's
OCD
a
with
question
setting up stuff.
of like, yes, thank you, 404. It is a question of like trying things, seeing how it works, and then trying something else. And it is like this back and forth process that I find really satisfying and relaxing. Is the music visualizer actually based on your microphone volume too? Yes. So this is a level of slight jank. Usually when that's up, I always mute my microphone. But that visualizer is based on stream audio. So that includes TTS and things like that. Anything that is going out to stream is going through there. Because the way that audio works on my stream, I can screen share this. That's not being useful. That's not being useful. On all of my things, great. On all of my things, we just have this wave stream mix, and that is my audio, because all of my audio goes through, if I minimize out of this, Elgato Streamlink, which I have a love-hate relationship with that I was exploring earlier before this, because I was trying to make some changes, and this is where all of my audio goes through. So you can see right down here, this is what's going to my headphones. So the music is going to my headphones, but my voice is not, because that is going directly from the microphone itself. And you can see over here, this is the amount going to my headphones. This is the amount going to y'all. And I could do something like this. And now I can no longer hear it, but y'all can still hear the music. Or I could do this, where now I can still hear the music and y'all can't. This is what I use. You can see all the different applications. And this is how I like separate out audio from my computer and route it and mix it in different ways. But the thing is that this all just sends it out to stream mix. So that is what I import in OBS.
So cool behind the scenes.
Yeah, I'm always happy to talk about this. This is some of my favorite stuff. So I just import that stream mix into OBS, which is great, except for this is not a perfect application, where it is required for macOS, because macOS really doesn't allow you to just like break out all of your different audio imports. Where on Windows, I would just import all of these different applications in OBS and I would do my mixing there. But the advantage of that would be that I'd be able to have them relate to each other. There's this like tool in audio mixing called ducking, which is where you take the input from one and it is a trigger for the volume on another. So in essence, I would take the volume that is here on my microphone, and I would say if it gets past, let's say, this point where my mouse is, I will decrease the volume of the music by 50%. So that whenever I'm talking, the music is quieter, and whenever I'm not, the music goes back up. And this is a thing that I use at live events for production. The best example is there's a trivia program where we want like lively background music during trivia, but when the person is reading the question, you obviously don't want that happening. So I use a ducker. But that requires looking at the input from one. Chat lag is back. Yeah, I don't know. That one is outside of my control, or at least while I am streaming outside of my control. I can't change those settings right here. Have you considered using Ethernet? It is not on my end. I apologize. I can show y'all. I have considered setting up Ethernet. I was not able to in my old place, but I am here, the way that the router is run. But if I do a speed test, let's see what my ping is. Yeah, 16, and with quite good speeds. So Ethernet would not be the thing that would improve the connection here. This problem is either on, it could be on my end with the way that I have my stream sending the information to Twitch, or it is on Twitch's end with the way that Twitch is processing and sending this information. OMG, this is, I think, so I moved in February, and I now like don't have roommates and things like that. And that has really improved so many aspects of my life, but I am very, very privileged in that the place that I am living has a direct fiber line.
I found DOSGO.
This IP is not my IP. Or at least I don't believe it's my IP. If it is my IP, oh no. But basically what I'm trying to show you is I have really good internet where I live because I have direct fiber. This is literally the cheapest internet that I could get. This is the slowest speed that they offer. So very privileged to have this internet. So statistically, it's not on my end. Going Ethernet would not help because I pay for 300. So I'm getting above what I pay for. But yeah, so the cool thing with ducking is it takes one input and it relates it to another. And here I can add audio effects. So in this case, a good example would be compressor. Oh, this is a bad compressor. It's like a very useful compressor, but it's bad to illustrate what I'm trying to illustrate. I'm gonna turn off the few things that I have. This isn't really doing much. I really just trust the microphone. But if I add a compressor here, what is a good compressor? Apple multi-brand compressor. It looks really nice. Okay. You can see this arrow right here. That is the volume of me talking into this microphone. This is not how you're supposed to use a multi-band compressor, but for the sake of demoing, this is the best way to show it. That arrow is me talking, and you can notice that it alternates between blue and red. When it is blue, it is under the amount that we're compressing, and when it is red, it is over the amount that we're compressing. And what a compressor does in audio is it just takes the loud things and it makes them quieter. So when it's red, it is decreasing the volume slightly. And this is like about where you want a compressor to be. I would actually move it up a little bit more because you want generally you to be talking like right at the edge. So if I were to get louder, it were to work. Sorry to my next door neighbors. But if I were to get louder, it would work and start to bring that down. This microphone is very consistent in the level of audio that it does, in the way that everything's set up. So I don't really worry about clipping and compression with this, but this is a thing that I do in my day job all the time. And this right here is the amount that we compress. So there's a ratio there where this would be infinity, where it would take everything and just bring it down to the same audio. And here, the way that it says headroom, I don't really like. Usually I would like that to be a ratio of about like 4:1, where it reduces it by about 25% so that it still gets louder the louder you talk, but you'll notice it is logarithmic. So we'll even out at a specific level. And this is theoretically how you prevent clipping in like a general sense. All of this is to say, these are the type of effects I can do this, and you'll notice like a very big difference in my volume. You might not even be able to hear me very well because I have just reduced my volume so much. But these are the different effects that I can do here, but I can't trigger between different things. So I can't do something like ducking here. This is all a long explanation of how and why my audio works the way that it does and why I'm slightly unhappy with it. Just that one thing. If I had that one thing, I would be extremely happy with it because then I would be able to do ducking. The other option that I was looking at before this stream is audio hijack, which is obscenely expensive. So this is running like a pseudo trial version. And you'll notice that this looks sort of similar to this, where I have Chrome, I have Firefox, I have OBS. Bringing in, and I was sending out to stream audio. And this works. If I run this, that's fine. You'll notice that you can see this like line right here alternating in size based on how loud I am to the microphone. And you can see this line right here being the music, which is coming from Chrome. And if I stop talking,
Metal pipe.
you can see what the duck looks like. And when I start talking, you'll see that the duck is yellow. And that is showing that it is doing ducking, that the music will drop down when I am talking. Like, that is perfect. But the one thing is that it takes these two and it combines them into one thing, where what I want is it to duck the Chrome audio, but not combine it with my microphone audio. Because if I do this, now if I start listening to the music, I start listening to my own voice at a slight delay. And I don't know if you've ever done that, but when you listen to your own audio with slight delay, it is like a known effect that'll make you stumble over your words. It'll make you talk slower. It really messes with your brain. It is like a prank that used to be done on radio shows. And it was doing that to me if I was trying to listen to it myself. So either I could send all of my audio to y'all and not be able to hear it at all myself, and then I could do the things that I wanted to do. But again, I want to be able to listen to it myself. So it is all of these different things where I haven't found a good macOS tool that does what I want it to do. But Windows, I would be able to do this perfectly, and I used to do this when I streamed to MLH from a Windows machine. But then you would constantly hear fan noise, and it was much more complicated from like my end at a logistical perspective to have a bunch of different computers I was juggling. Smada, but we are happy on our end that we can hear you with perfect sound. I'm glad. And again, this is an interesting thing about streaming with MLH, where like MLH live streams are not designed to be like, let me think about how I want to phrase this. The point of an MLH live stream is not for them to be pretty. The point of them is to be really informational, really fun, community building, all of that stuff. The content is more important than the delivery. But I have a professional like experience in that delivery. I find it fun to mess with that delivery, and I like do this as a hobby. So I really focus on that. And I know that what I'm doing like surpasses the bar that it needs to be to do an MLH stream, but I really like it. And this is a thing, I got feedback from one person who I really trust in terms of their feedback about my streams, that it was sometimes hard to process what I was saying because of the volume of the music. And it was just that I had the music mixed too high, but I like didn't have like a good way of adjusting that wouldn't make it then really quiet when I wasn't talking.
Good job.
Thank you, Samada. You've set a benchmark for all past and future streams. Thank you, Pranav. I only like to compare that benchmark to myself though, because again, like I have a very different set of skills and experiences where, again, I say this a lot. There are many different people and streamers at MLH who are much better technical programmers than me, who will go on and teach these really wonderful tutorials that like they have all of this knowledge stored. And I'm not that person, but I can do this sort of stuff. I can curate vibes. I can show you me making the mistakes. I can learn from y'all. We can learn together. That is the stuff that I can do on my streams. I have thought I never would have done this. So it's interesting now that I like work a day job in production technology, where before my only exposure to this was through live streaming. So I was so used to everything being in software. And one of the things that I've been slightly spoiled with, because I work at a local library, but it is a well-funded local library. Pranav, see, the problem is that I'm here staring at y'all, so I was able to see that before it happened. You didn't catch me off guard. You can catch me in the future, but not this time. But one of the things is that I'm now used to mixing on like hardware, whereas I used to just like, this was the only exposure that I had. So I knew all of the software, I knew all the tips and tricks, and now I've gotten used to like having these big mixers in front of me. Actually, let me see if I can pull up a picture of what my like, I have pictures that I took of my like most complicated event that I did recently. Welcome back, 404. Thank you, Dimmer, for staying calm and sharing all the things with us. I I'm glad you appreciate it. I feel like staying calm is a fairly low bar. Especially like this, again, I like am in a very different position than a lot of people at MLH because I've been doing this now for like 2 years consistently. So I was able to identify when we took that break of like, this stream is going poorly and I'm starting to get really stressed out. Let's redirect this. But okay, this is what my like general production station is when I'm doing complicated events. This over here is where the live streaming is happening, and all of these buttons are different ways where I can switch between different cameras and things like that. We don't really use this all that much. And this is my audio mixing. And now this is only like, you can see the tape there. Where the tape is what I'm actively using. It can do a lot more than what I was doing for this event. But I'm used to having all of the sliders and all of the buttons and all of the knobs in front of me. And now like having all of it back down into software where I'm like, oh yeah, I just need to link these 2 channels and do a ducker. And I like go to reach for it and I go, oh, my software can't do that. So there's a part of me that, again, if I had infinite money, I would totally start getting some hardware and like get some hardware mixing stuff and like really beef out this setup. I would get multiple camera angles like I'm used to now with a dedicated hardware video mixer. Oh, I would do so much stuff, but that is so expensive. And it's funny because when I started my job, I like kept talking about like, wow, we do so much really expensive stuff. So much of this can be done like to like 80 or 90% of the way there with open source software. And now I have come to appreciate why we use this stuff and why it is better. POV, what people think coding looks like. I mean, yes, this looks a lot more complicated than it actually is from like a perspective of like, once you get it set up, using this is fairly simple. Well, yes, I will say it is fairly simple for the level that I'm working at.
Tangent alert!
This entire thing has been a tangent alert for the past 50 minutes. I work with people who have like bachelor's degrees in like production design and who are like professional sound engineers who used to work in like musical theater of like live mixing. Like if you ever want to see some like amazing mixing stuff, look at, I know the one from Hamilton, like the like behind the scenes of mixing where these people are constantly mixing live, like 20 people singing all at once. It's amazing. And seeing those people work on this gear is like mind blowing. Fairly simple, shows 1,000 buttons, sliders, and wires. So here's the thing. You set all of the wires, and this is only half the wires. There's another bank over in that right-hand corner. You set the wires at the beginning to route all of the things, and then you set on here which sliders you're going to be using. All of those sliders that are down at 0 here, I'm not using. I'm only using these sliders right here, and all of these knobs I change once at the beginning, and then as I hear like, oh, I need to change my EQ, or I need to change my compression, I change it once. I'm not like constantly using all of them live. I would just want to press all the random buttons just for fun. They look so cool. I mean, yes, it is fun to just press the buttons and see the colors light up. With that, it is 11:59. Today in Global Hack Week is starting in 1 minute. This has been a wonderful series of streams. Today's stream went a little off the rails, but it has been fun to hang out with y'all for a whole bunch of hours this week. I think it was around 12 hours this week, which has always been fun. I'm going to be back for next Global Hack Week where we can hang out again. And again, follow me on Twitch, deadnamedimmer. I'm just going to drop that in chat. If you are interested in if I were to stream personally, coming to that, I don't know if I'm going to, but if you are ever interested in that, that will be the channel that it'll be coming from. So following there will allow you to get notifications for that. With that, stick around for today in Global Hack Week, which will go over the last few hacks remaining. Thank you all so much for coming, both today and so many of y'all
Already
have been
followed
here.
a few months ago.
A lot of you have, but I'm just sharing it for the people who are new. Thank you for coming today, and for those of you, we have a lot of faces who have been here for basically all of the streams this month. Thank you for spending all of this time with me. This has been truly wonderful. Until next month, happy hacking and keep it crispy, and stick around for today in Global Hack Week. Bye, y'all.
Good job.
Thank you, Pranav. Bye, 404. Bye, Eclectic. Bye, Bob Blaze. Bye, Hobbyo Penguin.